welcome. Turn up the bacon. And hi. This is the first episode of Live Stream Everything preview of the podcast. It's going to be a regular podcast that's going to be coming out hopefully in a couple of weeks. But I'm going to start live streaming these episodes in preparation for it and to get ready for it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about live streaming in general, some of the ups and downs. I can't think of any downs other than maybe having to take a lot of time to schedule all these things. But, it is what it is. So my name is Frank. If you've watched me for a while here on Turn Up the Bacon, you know that I don't have a huge following here on YouTube. My Facebook following, I've a little over 14,000 followers there. And in the past I've said 15,000, but it was more like 14.6 or something. But it was close. So basically, it was ramping up. And so I've actually taken a lot of my live streaming knowledge, because that's what I was doing on Facebook a lot. And I took a lot of those videos down for various reasons. Part of it due to trying to change my own brand. But I was able to take that knowledge and turn it into a job where I was teaching others and businesses how to do live streaming. And it was a lot of fun. It was great. And in that time, well, the companies that I was teaching to do the live streaming, they didn't really care about it too much. And they were just using it as a platform to be able to say to their own competition, we can do live streaming. And that, to me, all the excitement, all the art went away. As there were people who were really passionate about doing live streaming, whether it be gaming or building something or just chatting. That's art, that's fun, and that's interactive. It's not just a business platform that's made of concrete and it's boring. So obviously, as a business platform, I feel that it's vital and important for every business to live stream. And that's why I've actually set up a business where I'm going to be teaching people how to live stream in a very professional way. You might notice that I'm not exactly 100% professional in my setup today. Like, for instance, I have a really shiny head today. Normally, I would do something smart about it, like put on some powder makeup, which, yes, you need makeup if you're going to do a really high quality professional stream, no matter what you might think about makeup. But I don't have any on today, so it's just me, okay? And the other is that you probably hear some air, or some extra noise in my microphone today. And that's mainly due to the fact that I haven't fine-tuned my settings. I kind of set up my setup and my recording for all this in a really hasty fashion. So I wasn't able to fine tune the audio. I wasn't able to filter out that high pitch hiss from my cooling fan for my computer, or the fan that keeps my body cool, because it's hot in this little office that I have. Some of you have seen my studio and my setup before, and as you can see, it looks slightly different now. It's got various colors and stuff. I'm looking at the monitor above my camera. That's why I keep looking up. And I guess I could look down here, but then I don't know, that's different. So I'm going to be talking about live streaming, and in future episodes, when these won't be preview episodes anymore, I'll actually be talking to other live streamers on various platforms. And some of these may be my customers, and some of these may just simply be the people that I found have great live streams or interesting live streams, or maybe they're businesses that use live streaming in a very unique or different type of way. And so we're going to be talking to all kinds of people throughout the history and course of this Live Stream Everything podcast. I've been planning for this podcast for the last 2 years, but because of me doing my live streaming educational business to big companies, I haven't been able to do that. A lot of them have had me sign NDA, so I can't talk about what businesses that I've worked with. Pretty soon one of those expires, though, so hopefully in about a month or two I'll be able to talk about one of them. A couple of them just simply have no expiration date. I'm sure it won't matter in 10 years if I talk about them, but I'm not in the business of getting sued, so I'm not going to do anything stupid like that. At least not right away. I'll do something stupid later. But the point is, I'm doing this live right now for two reasons. One is that it's important to me that I go ahead and start this broadcast soon, because a lot of people, they're getting into it, they're needing it, or they're wanting it because a lot of people are out of work, or they're stuck doing something, or maybe they only can work part-time, limited hours, or whatever the case. I know a lot of people are out of work. At least where I live in the United States of America, we have, I don't know, somewhere around 20 or 30 million people who have lost their jobs because of the pandemic. And that really bothers me. So one of the things that I learned from some of my own business mentors was that when you start, if you decide you want to start something like an online business, whether it be a video-based business, which I personally think every company should have a video aspect to their business, regardless of what they do. They should also, one, they should get a mentor, which I'm happy to do for people if they want. And two, just do it. I don't remember exactly how I was leading into this, one and two. But yeah, the first reason is that people need help. The second reason is that I'm deciding to take on that second part of the advice, which is just do it. And it is that I'm not going to take the time necessarily to make this perfect. I took a little bit of time to make it function. Like I got my camera okay. I don't have my gamma and light settings right, but that's okay. That's not really the important part. I'm looking at my computer where all this is set up. I don't even really know if my audio is synced perfectly to the video, so if it's a little bit off, I apologize. I think the video might be about a third of a second delayed if I'm just looking at the way the monitor's set up, but I don't have anything in my ear telling me if anything's working right or not. So if it is, great. If it isn't, sorry. But it's best to just start. Even if you're not 100% ready, just start. That's the only way you're really going to get used to it, is to make this thing happen. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story, and I'll tell you a little bit about what I'm doing as far as my own personal change in the way I'm educating people on live streaming, okay? So I started live streaming, I don't know, about 6-7 years ago, something like that. It was more like 10 years ago. It was in the early 2010s. And when I started that, I started live streaming mostly on Twitch. And I also started putting out YouTube videos. Well, this channel's been around for about 3 years, but obviously I haven't been live streaming for 10 years on Twitch. That hasn't existed for 10 years. Let me just clarify. I've been live streaming on the internet, on things like Ustream and things like that. And I haven't been able to find any of those old videos. A lot of like my old Ustream stuff was taken down because it was just inactive, and then they went through a change and they're blah, blah, blah. Now, I don't know what they do anymore. I'll have to investigate it, because obviously if I'm going to be teaching people about live streaming, I have to learn about all these different platforms. Now, I have a lot of extensive knowledge on Twitch and YouTube and Facebook for live streaming. A little bit with Caffeine, definitely some with Twitter or Periscope or whatever you want to call the combination, because they're like one and the same, but they're not really. It's weird. Anyway, so I started doing that, let's just say years ago. That's the easiest way to say it. Let's just say years ago, I started doing that, and I was enjoying it, I was having fun, but I really wasn't getting any traction, wasn't really getting anywhere. And I was trying the different platforms. I was trying Twitch mostly at first, after the Ustream stuff. And then I worked a little bit on YouTube live streaming, some on this channel, some on one of my older channels, which may not even exist now, or if I'm sure it doesn't. I don't think YouTube has actually taken down any channels that aren't problematic. and mine weren't problematic. They were just boring. So, but one example is that I abandoned this YouTube channel. As of right now, I have somewhere around 80 subscribers, 78, I think. And that's not important because this is where I haven't been focusing anything here. I made a big change and I decided to shift to Facebook only because I didn't want to keep up with multiple platforms, and I was already on Facebook for almost everything else. Like my social interaction with people and friends and family, things like that. So I decided to switch to live streaming and putting up videos on Facebook. Now, you can see from my history of YouTube that I still have various episodes of Turn Up the Bacon that come out every few months on YouTube right here. That's where I've made my various, pre-recorded videos, some recently with drone footage and things like that. And that's a lot of fun. But I still did most of my stuff on Facebook. And while I only had 78 subscribers, at least as of today on this YouTube channel, my Facebook, like I said earlier, has almost 15,000, 14,000 something. I don't know how many it has right now, but it has a lot. Okay, so essentially what I did is I took the knowledge of how to gain those 14,000 people, which, by the way, I started off by asking big streamers, like popular streamers that had thousands of people watching them every time they would live stream. And I would say, what's your secret? What are you doing? And they would always tell me horrible advice like, well, man, you just gotta, stream for 10 hours a day or 8 hours a day or 15 hours a day. You just gotta live stream like all the time. You can never stop. You gotta do it 7 days a week. And some people even set up cameras in their bedroom so they can show them sleeping and live stream that. And I'm like, that was stupid. I mean, that was bad advice. So, but the thing is, I took part of that to heart. And while I was working a regular full-time job, I also, I was telling my wife, I want to live stream, and I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Maybe I'll be a live streaming gamer. And she's like, well, if you can do it, other people have done it, try it out. And so I tried it, and I took that biggest piece of advice, which was just go for it as much as you possibly can. And I started live streaming every day. I tried to do a few 24-hour live streams, and I'll put up some videos of some of those. But in some of those, I just flat out fell asleep on the live stream, in front of my keyboard, in front of the screen, and camera, and everything. And I was out. It's kind of funny. One guy actually sent me a donation. Okay, I need to turn off my echo at some point. So I forgot to mute that thing. I don't know, hopefully I won't be saying the AMAZON word, because that's the wake up word that I set up for this one. Anyway, so yeah, I'll see if I can find some of those video clips, and I'll put them up, somewhere eventually. I don't know. They are kind of funny. Well, one guy sent a donation. I was doing the Extra Life charity stream, and one guy actually sent a donation just because it would make a noise, so it would wake me up, and it worked. It was great, and it was hilarious, and I saved that clip. It was embarrassing, but it was funny, and if I watched anyone else do that, I would laugh. So I thought, you know what? I'll take the embarrassment. But it was interesting, and it was funny, but I wasn't doing great at it. But basically it was burning me out, and I was taking all my spare time trying to live stream all the time. And whenever I was doing that, like I said, I was getting burnt out. I was getting burnt out really bad. And the bad thing, I guess the worst part about it, is that I was, how do I say this? It was affecting my home life, I should say, because I wasn't interacting with my family, my wife. I was working for essentially 9 hours a day, and then an extra hour traveling, because it's a half-hour drive to the office. So 8 hours there, plus an hour for lunch, plus an hour round trip. That's 10 hours a day. Then I would come home, I'd have dinner with everyone, But that's it. Then I wouldn't see anyone, and kids would go to bed, my wife would go to bed, and I'd still be streaming. I wouldn't be interacting with anyone. That's not good for your home life. Okay, that's not good. And that was the biggest piece of advice people gave me. A lot of different streamers was stream all the time, live stream all the time, never stop, and that's no good. And finally, eventually I ended up almost quitting. I ended up getting to where I was live streaming 6 to 7 days a week for anywhere from 4 to 8 hours at a time, which was horrible. It was bad on my health and everything. Um, Down to where I hated live streaming. I couldn't stand it. I didn't know what I was doing, and I just wasn't enjoying it. And I was only live streaming once every 1 to 2 weeks. But then by chance, I ended up coming across a live stream that was doing really well. And it was a really friendly guy. And I ended up chatting with him, and I kind of made like a little bit of a friendship with him. He, and I'm like, man, what's your secret? Like, everyone's telling me to live stream all the time, but you're not live streaming all the time, but you got a pretty good following. And then he told me a lot of the actual business secrets of how to live stream well. And he said basically to turn it into a business. And then he gave me a lot of inside tips on how to do that. Now, I've taken a lot of his knowledge. I've talked to him about it, and he's like, I don't sell this knowledge, but if you want to, that's fine. So I've actually compiled, yeah, that's better, compiled a collection of his information, plus many different teachings from many different people, and a lot of my own trial and error, and actually built a class to teach people how to turn their live streaming into an actual business. Now, I personally took that information first, like I said earlier, and I went to big corporations and I taught them how to live stream for their business. And while it was a profitable venture, it was good. Um, it hurt my feelings because no one really gave a crap about it. I mean, that's the easiest way to sum it up. No one cared. People just took the information and then they boasted about it to their competition. Look, we can do live streaming. And while this is a neat little studio, I was going to set up some huge elaborate studios for people. In a few cases, I set up some very basic things, and I would just teach a CEO, here's how you use your live stream from your phone, ma'am. It does like this. It's great. And, an individual can care about it. But when I was talking to, a room full of executives and, they have just people wearing suits and pantsuits everywhere and, yes men and yes women following them all over the place. Um, it, it was, it was such a dry environment and no one cared. And like I said, all they wanted it for was just to show up their own competition. But because they had an NDA saying I can't talk about who they are, and I had one also that said because I can't say who I'm working with, you can't say that you're working with me. So if I go work for your competition, you can't stop me. And because we all agreed on that, they understood. So sometimes I would go right to the competition and be like, what do you want? And they'd say, we want company A. They started live streaming and we want to live stream too. And I'm thinking, I did that. But they don't know that. And I couldn't tell them. And our NDAs went back and forth all over the place. And it was fun. But only the travel and a few individuals, I would say it was fun. Traveling to these places were fun. Setting up these streams was fun because I like the technical aspect of it. But the corporate aspect of it just broke my heart. And so I stopped. I just flat out stopped. And I decided to tweak everything. And I scaled it down to where it's going to be. I want to be able to teach people who care about it and who are excited about it and not just see it as another tool to increase the bottom line. That's it. I want to find companies and people who want to change that. Now, obviously everything I give on this live stream, I'm not gonna be charging for this podcast. Maybe I should, but I won't. And I'm going to be bringing a lot of knowledge into it. And when we start interviewing live streamers, a lot of that knowledge is going to be in here, and it's going to be fantastic. But like I said, the course that I'm selling, I'm going to have a link to it on a future episode. I'm still in the process of building the site out for it. It's a good business investment, and essentially the secret to making a live stream what it is setting up a business. So when I did that for myself, before I decided to go and teach these big companies, I tried it on my Facebook channel, which is where I was live streaming. And for about 3 years, I was able to get about 30 people over the course of 3 years to follow me. And that's even after sharing it on my own Facebook page with, 140 friends or whatever. And I could only get 30 people over 3 years to follow me. I started using the business techniques of my new friend who taught me the insider secrets. What he taught me. And within 2 weeks, I forgot how many hundreds. I had hundreds of followers at that point. Hundreds of people watching my videos. And then in another month, I had 13,000. And then at that point I stopped. I stopped doing the Facebook stuff, and that's when I started bringing all my information to these big corporations. And so since then, it's only gone up another 1,400 ish, 1,500 ish, something like that. But the point is, but I wasn't doing any streams in that time. I did a couple, like I'd play a video game like Minecraft or Zelda, something like that. And, I'd have fun with that. But I would also do the other, I was just doing the side thing. But now I'm bringing everything back to the live streaming community, the people that actually care about it, the people that love doing it, the people that like playing video games on their live stream because it's fun, the people who like, I don't know, showing how they make their cosplay on their live stream because it's fun. And yeah, if they make some money on it, that's great. But I want to help all those people to turn it into a lucrative business, like a legit business, and everyone can do that. If you think about how many millions and millions of people watch YouTube and Mixer and Twitch and Facebook Live and all the other live streaming platforms every single day, you'll see that there's no shortage of places to go watch channels and people or whatever. So if you're thinking, well, I mean, there's already 2 million people live streaming or doing videos on YouTube, I can never make it. Well, that's just not true. I mean, back when television had 6 channels, and that was all people had to choose from, people were worried, these 6 channels, the market is flooded with TV channels. And then who's going to dare to make a new TV channel? And then someone did, and they're like, that's a stupid idea. The market's already flooded, but there's 6 TV channels to watch. Well, who's going to watch a 7th? But how many TV channels, just television on satellite and cable, before live streaming even existed? How many of those came out? Like 800 worldwide? And with some satellite systems, you could you could watch any of those from anywhere in the world. Like I said, on some satellite providers, some satellite systems. And I mean, that's fascinating to me. And then, of course, the internet came out, and then people started making videos, and some early adoption YouTube channels came around, and then they ended up getting millions of people watching them. And then some people thought, oh, well, 200 more people just got onto YouTube that now have hundreds of or millions of subscribers, and no one's going to watch my channel. Well, that's true if your point of view is no one's going to watch my channel. But then suddenly you find that there's another group of people making $1 million getting 1 million views, and another, and then like every week. But because there's billions of people on the planet, and most of them, maybe half of them, I'm not sure, but I'd say at least half have access to the internet, have access to YouTube, and so they're making these channels. I mean, and even in countries that specifically disallow YouTube, there's not a lot of them, but maybe two, I don't know. They have their own streaming platforms and they're working there. And not even just streaming, just video platforms in general, or audio platforms, radio, podcast. I'm looking down at my monitor just to see the stats, making sure my video is still working, my live stream is still working, so I'm pretty happy about that. Now, so essentially, the message I'm trying to get across here is, if there is a time where you might want to, turn, either start live streaming or turn a live stream which isn't making you any money into something real, into an actual business that can make you an income, then continue to come here and watch live stream everything here on my Turn Up the Bacon channel. I thought about making a live stream everything channel, and I might one day, but for right now, I mean, the people who know me know Turn Up the Bacon, and I really like that thought of I kind of do everything through that. Now, my brand is not even Turn Up the Bacon. Turn Up the Bacon is a DBA, which is a doing business as, which is still a registered business scenario. Not an entity, but a scenario. My business is called Grave Danger Media, which is kind of a neat name. So, so everything in here is under Grave Danger Media, but I actually started the legit business. I mean, I started the business. I had a different business when I was teaching the big corporations. And while that business still exists, I'm not using that one anymore. This is the last year that it'll even exist. I'm just going to let this year finish out. I have a few residuals that are still coming in for it, because I have a contract with one company still to once a month do a feedback on their live stream, and that expires in October. So I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to honor my agreement, but then at the end of the year, I'm completely destroying that business, and everything's going to be jumping onto this one. I'm not doing anything with that one anymore. This one's going to be the one that's going to grow. So I hope you will join me for this collection of videos. Like I said, this is preview episode 1. I did a lot of rambling here, but like I said before, just to do something to make the video happen is better than trying to perfect it for the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, trying to get it just right, and then maybe never even launching it. The point is just to make it happen. And that's what you need to do. So if you want to, you can reach out to me. The best way to do that, I need to put up graphics. I can just tap a button or something and it just go, whoop, here it is, my Twitter account. But at Turn Up the Bacon, that's just how it sounds. You can look at the channel name, Turn Up the Bacon. So at Turn Up the Bacon, no spaces, obviously, because it's Twitter. And you can just let me know. And do hashtag live stream everything. That's a huge hashtag, I know, but I'll look for it. And if you have any questions about it, feel free to reach out to me. You can send me a message there. If you're interested in the course, you can ask about it. But you'll learn more about it as you watch these live streams. I'm going to be doing these live streams 4 to 5 days a week. Perhaps even more. I'm not sure. I'll do other live streams also with the exact same scenario. I have a green screen up here. I might pull that down at some point, and I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Also, I noticed that, did I mention this in the beginning? The gamma and the color settings for this video are not, they're not really set up right. So as I'm looking at my monitor, that kind of purplish greenish hue is not really the color of my skin naturally. And of course, this giant light bulb right here of the reflection on my shiny head is not going to always be there, because I just couldn't find my powder this morning. I couldn't find it. I mean, it's a weird thing for me to say, because I wore makeup a grand total of 0 times. 0 times in my life. Um, by the way, what I just did then, no subliminal messages. I'm a loving person. Don't read into that. Don't read into the BS, okay? 0 times in my life. Up until I started doing live streaming or trying to make professional looking videos. And of course, I failed miserably in the past, but things are changing. Things are changing. I will be talking about how to live stream from a backpack. I have a live streaming backpack. A lot of people call it an IRL backpack. Some people call it a gun run backpack, based on a very popular Twitch streamer who invented a way, not invented, but kind of pieced together a backpack scenario for live streaming on the go. Mine is loosely based on that, but it's pretty different as to where I have a lot more components. Mine's big and flashy and bright, and it lights up, and it also completely interacts with my drone, so I can go and do a live stream and on the fly switch to my drone footage, and I can live stream from my drone while I'm anywhere. It's a lot of fun, and I'll do a few episodes while out and about. Right now, obviously, because of a lot of quarantine rules that are in effect due to COVID-19, I can't go to a lot of places. I can't go to parks where I normally would, because all these parks that I would normally go to fly the drone are closed. Obviously, I can't go to national parks. I don't have that kind of license for flying a drone. But I can go to various state parks and some city parks, things like that. And also just some really nice areas, and like the beach, for instance. I can go to the beach and fly. And if someone's curious about drone information, I do have that too. And I'll make some more drone videos. One day I'll get probably a smaller, more compact drone to live stream with. But I have to make sure that the drone itself is specifically compatible with being able to do a live stream in a high quality that's really worthy of a professional stream. Now, okay, side note on drones, most drones can actually live stream if you control it with an app on your phone. But that isn't great because you're live streaming just through your phone, and that can be problematic. So I have some tips on how to make it better. Now, if all you have is a phone, great, do it. Just don't do drone streaming through your phone. It's not going to be great. But holding it up and doing selfie style is fantastic. So I'm going to sign off for now. Thank you for watching this preview episode of Live Stream Everything, the podcast about live streaming everything. I got to come up with a catchphrase, right? So that's it. So I'm just going to call it a day, a night, a morning, whatever time it is for you. Thanks for watching. Please hit subscribe and hit like on that. And if you subscribe, which you should, then hit the bell icon too. Get notified when I go live, because I'm going to be going live, like I said, 4 to 5 days a week. Usually be about this time of day, which is 7 a.m. U.S. Central Time for me. And it'll be whatever, if it's Central Standard or Central Daylight, because time changes for me here in Central Time. So it's going to be whatever Central Time is in the U.S., usually 7 a.m. is when I'm going to stream. Now, if I change that, I'll let you know. But that's it. So have a great day. Have a wonderful afternoon. I got to find out. I'm using a different live streaming platform also. I'm using YouTube, but different application than I'm used to. So I got to find how to end this. Okay, I found how to end the stream. All right. See you later. Have a wonderful day. And bye.